My girlfriend said, "This year will be different." I replied, "You're right." Then I ended it at 11:58, walked out during countdown, started fresh, and I smiled when different meant she lost everything. "Hey, Reddit. This year will be different, I promise." She said it with that same hopeful smile she'd worn every December for the past 3 years. The champagne was already chilling. Her sequin dress caught the light from our apartment's cheap Christmas decorations. Midnight was 2 minutes away. I looked at her, really looked at her, and realized I'd heard this exact speech before. Same tone, same eyes, same empty promise. "You're right," I said, setting down my glass. "This year will be different." Her smile widened. She didn't understand yet. I'm 25. She's 26. We'd been together for 3 years and 3 months. We lived in a decent 2-bedroom apartment downtown, technically under my lease, though she'd moved in after month 6. Everything was fine on paper. Friends thought we were solid. Her parents loved me. My parents tolerated her. But paper doesn't capture the weight of 3 years' worth of broken promises. The countdown started somewhere outside. 10, 9, 8. I walked to the bedroom. "Where are you going?" she called out, laughing nervously. "Baby, we're going to miss it." 7, 6, 5. I grabbed my overnight bag, the one I'd packed that morning while she was at the salon. Clothes, laptop, documents, toiletries, everything important. 4, 3, 2. I walked past her standing frozen in the living room, her champagne flute trembling in her hand. 1. The door clicked shut behind me as the building erupted in cheers. My phone started buzzing before I reached my car. 15 missed calls by the time I pulled into the hotel parking lot. 23 by the time I checked in. I turned it off and slept better than I had in months. When I powered it back on the next morning, the messages were a timeline of her emotional breakdown. 12:01 a.m. What the hell? Where did you go? 12:07 a.m. This isn't funny. Come back. 12:34 a.m. Are you seriously doing this on New Year's? 1:15 a.m. We can talk about this. Just come home. 2:43 a.m. I'm sorry for whatever I did wrong. 4:22 a.m. Please. I love you. 7:38 a.m. You're a coward. I didn't respond to any of them. Here's what people don't tell you about ending a relationship. The guilt hits you in waves, but so does the relief. I sat in that hotel room eating continental breakfast and felt lighter than I had since we'd started dating. Because here's the thing nobody knew. The promises weren't about romance or communication or quality time. They were about money. 3 years ago, when we first started dating, she had a job. Marketing coordinator at some startup. Made decent money. Split dates fairly. Paid her own bills. That version of her was independent, ambitious, driven. Then the startup folded. She got laid off. That was 2 years and 4 months ago. I just need a few months to find something good, she'd said. I don't want to settle for something beneath my qualifications. Those few months became 6. Then 9. Then a year. Baby, I had 3 interviews this week. She'd tell me over dinner. Dinner I'd paid for, at the restaurant I'd chosen, because she wasn't feeling up to cooking. That's great, I'd say. How'd they go? Really well. The second one especially. The manager loved me. She said I was exactly what they were looking for. A week would pass. Then 2. What happened with that job? I'd finally ask. Oh, they went with an internal candidate. Can you believe that? Why even interview externals if you're just going to promote from within? Or, the salary was insulting. Like $42,000 for a senior position? I have standards. Or, the commute would have been awful. 2 hours a day? That's 4 hours I could spend being productive. Or, the culture seemed toxic. All those corporate buzzwords in the interview? Red flags everywhere. Every rejection came with an explanation that made her sound reasonable. But after 20 rejections, 30, 50, the pattern became clear. She wasn't actually looking for a job. She was looking for the perfect excuse to keep not working. By year 2, I was covering everything. Rent, utilities, groceries, her car insurance, her phone bill, her credit card payments, because it's just temporary until I get hired and I need to maintain my credit score. My savings account hemorrhaged money. I picked up extra freelance work, canceled my gym membership, stopped going out with friends because I couldn't afford to split $60 bar tabs anymore. I really appreciate everything you're doing, she'd say, cuddling up to me on the couch I'd furnished, in the living room I paid for, watching Netflix on the subscription under my name. It's fine, I'd say, because what else could I say? You can't tell someone you love that they're financially draining you without sounding like a heartless bastard. But here's what made it worse. She wasn't depressed. She wasn't struggling with mental health. She wasn't incapable. She was comfortable. I'd come home from work, actual work, where I spent 8 to 10 hours a day writing code and dealing with deadlines. And she'd be on the couch exactly where I'd left her that morning. How was job hunting today? I'd ask. Exhausting, she'd sigh. I updated my resume, applied to 3 positions, and had a phone screening that went really well. 3 positions. In 8 hours. While I'd attended 6 meetings, debugged a critical system failure, and mentored 2 junior developers. But sure, exhausting. The apartment was never clean when I got home. There was no dinner waiting. The laundry I'd left in the basket that morning was still there, unfolded. She'd order takeout on my credit card around 2 p.m. I got hungry and didn't want to wait until you got home, and I'd come back to find the containers on the coffee table, next to her phone, next to the remote. Did you do anything else today? I asked once, trying to keep my voice neutral. What do you mean, anything else? Her tone shifted immediately, defensive. I'm trying to find a career, not just some minimum wage job. That takes time and energy. It's emotionally draining to keep getting rejected. I know, but what? You think I'm lazy? I didn't say that. You implied it. She stood up, arms crossed. I didn't ask to get laid off. I didn't ask for the market to be this competitive. I'm doing my best, and if that's not good enough for you, it's fine. I'd interrupt, because the argument wasn't worth it. I'm sorry. I'm just tired. You're tired? Try being rejected 40 times in a year. Try having to explain to everyone why you're unemployed. Try feeling like a burden. And there it was. The trap. If I pushed back, I was the bad guy. If I agreed she was a burden, I was the bad guy. So I'd apologize, order us dinner, on my dime, and pretend everything was fine. Last New Year's Eve, she'd made the same promise. This year will be different, she'd said, champagne in hand. I'm going to land something amazing. I can feel it. This is my year. January came and went. 2 applications submitted. February. 1 phone screening, rejected. March. The market's really slow right now. Hiring freezes everywhere. By June, I stopped asking. By September, I stopped caring. By December, I'd already checked out emotionally. But I stayed, because leaving someone who's unemployed feels cruel. Like kicking someone when they're down. Her parents would think I was heartless. My parents would say I didn't try hard enough. Friends would whisper that I gave up too easily. So I stayed through the holidays. Through Christmas, where I bought her gifts I couldn't afford because she'd dropped hints for weeks. Through her birthday in early December, where I took her to the restaurant she'd been dying to try. $1.80 for 2, not including tip. And then came New Year's Eve. This year will be different, she said again, glass raised. And something in me just snapped. 3 years of the same promise. 3 years of watching her do the absolute minimum while I carried everything. 3 years of being made to feel guilty for wanting an equal partner. I was done. The hotel phone rang on January 2nd. I don't know how she got the number. Probably called every hotel within a 5-mile radius of our apartment. You can't just leave, she said when I picked up. Her voice was hoarse. She'd been crying. You can't just walk out without talking to me. I tried talking to you, I said calmly. For 2 years. You didn't listen. That's not fair. You haven't had a job in 28 months. You haven't contributed a single dollar to rent, food, utilities, anything. You promised every new year that things would change, and they never did. I've been trying. No, you haven't. My voice stayed level. I'd practiced this. You've been comfortable. You found someone to take care of you, and you stopped trying. Silence on the other end. I paid for everything. I continued. I emptied my savings. I worked extra hours. I gave up things I loved because I couldn't afford them anymore. And you? You applied to 3 jobs a week and acted like that was a full-time effort. I was depressed. You weren't depressed. You watched Netflix 8 hours a day. You went to brunch with friends on my credit card. You bought clothes online. You weren't depressed. You were lazy. She sucked in a breath. How dare you? I'm done, I said. I'm done feeling guilty for wanting a partner who contributes. I'm done being an ATM. I'm done hearing promises you never intended to keep. So that's it. 3 years and you just throw it away. You threw it away, I said. 2 years ago, when you decided being taken care of was easier than being equal. I hung up. She texted me 17 times that day, called from different numbers, sent me emails, had her friends reach out. I blocked all of them. On January 3rd, I went back to the apartment, our apartment, my lease, while she was out. I'd texted her from a temporary number. I'll be there at 2 p.m. to get my things. Please don't be there. She was there anyway. We need to talk about this, she said, blocking the doorway. There's nothing to talk about. I'm moving my stuff out. You have 30 days to find somewhere else to live. Her face went pale. 30 days? You're evicting me. You're not on the lease. You never paid rent. Legally, you're a guest. I'm giving you notice. I have nowhere to go. You have parents, friends. Figure it out. You're really going to do this? Put me out on the street. You're not going to be on the street. You're going to have to get a job and support yourself like an adult. She started crying. The ugly kind, with gasping breaths and running mascara. Part of me felt terrible. The other part, the part that had been suffocating for 2 years, felt free. I loved you, she sobbed. You loved what I provided. I corrected. There's a difference. I moved into a 1-bedroom across town. Smaller place, cheaper rent, but it was mine. No one else's mess. No one else's excuses. No one else's broken promises. The first week was weird. I kept expecting to come home to someone on the couch. Kept expecting to check my bank account and see unexplained charges. Kept expecting the guilt to crush me. Instead, I felt lighter every day. I went to the gym again. Reconnected with friends I'd ghosted because I couldn't afford to go out. Started saving money, actual money, building back up what I'd lost. My buddy Trevor came over in mid-January with pizza and beer. Man, you seem different, he said, looking around my new place. Different how? Happier. Like actually happy. I haven't seen you like this in years. He wasn't wrong. I'd forgotten what it felt like to not be stressed about money constantly. To not feel responsible for someone else's choices. To just exist without the weight of someone else's dysfunction on my shoulders. February rolled around, and I heard through mutual friends that she'd moved back in with her parents. Still unemployed. Still making excuses. She's telling everyone you were abusive, one friend told me. That you financially controlled her and then abandoned her. I laughed. Actually laughed. She's right about one thing, I said. I did financially control the relationship. By paying for absolutely everything while she did nothing. The friend nodded. Yeah, we all kind of knew. Nobody wanted to say anything because, you know, it's not really our business. But we all saw it. That stung a little. My friends had watched me get drained for 2 years and said nothing. But I understood. What were they supposed to say? Hey, your girlfriend's using you? That's not a conversation anyone wants to have. March brought something unexpected. She got a job. I found out through social media. She'd posted about it. All triumphant. New beginnings. So excited to start my journey with company name. #blessed #new chapter. I checked. It was an entry-level admin position. Probably $35,000 a year. The kind of job she'd rejected dozens of times over the past 2 years because it was beneath her qualifications. Trevor texted me the same day. Saw her post. Funny how she found work the second She actually had to support herself. Funny wasn't the word I'd use. Predictable, maybe. She'd been capable of working the entire time. She just didn't have to while I was there to fund her lifestyle. April brought closure in an unexpected way. I was at a coffee shop, working on some freelance code, when someone tapped my shoulder. It was her best friend, Kendra. We'd hung out a lot when I was still with my ex. Dinners, game nights, the usual couple friend stuff. "Can I sit?" she asked. I gestured to the empty chair. "I wanted to apologize," she said after a moment. "I should have said something. I knew what she was doing. We all did. But she's my friend, so I thought. I don't know. I thought maybe you guys would work it out." "It's fine," I said, and I meant it. It wasn't your job to fix our relationship. Still, you were good to her. Better than she deserved, honestly. Kendra stirred her coffee. "For what it's worth, she's miserable now. Hates her job. Hates living with her parents. Keeps talking about how she had it so good before. And nothing. Just thought you'd want to know." She smiled slightly. "Also thought you'd want to know she's been trying to get info about you. Asking mutual friends if you're seeing anyone, where you live now, all that." "Tell her I'm doing great," I said. "And that's all she needs to know." Kendra nodded. "Will do." By the time summer hit, I was completely over it. The anger had faded. The guilt had dissolved. I just felt indifferent. I was saving money again. My credit score was climbing back up. I'd started dating casually. Nothing serious, just enjoying getting to know people without the weight of a failing relationship. One night in July, I was out with someone new. Dinner at a place I'd actually wanted to try, not somewhere chosen by default. We were laughing about something stupid when I looked up and saw her. My ex standing across the restaurant with some guy I didn't recognize. We made eye contact. Just for a second. She looked away first, and I realized I felt nothing. No anger. No sadness. No residual affection. Just complete indifference. That's when I knew I'd made the right choice. People always ask if I regret it. Walking out at 11:58 p.m. on New Year's Eve. Not giving her another chance. Not trying counseling or having one more conversation. I don't. Because here's what I learned. You can't save someone who doesn't want to save themselves. You can't love someone into being responsible. You can't sacrifice yourself hoping they'll eventually appreciate it. Some people are comfortable being taken care of. They'll promise change, promise growth, promise effort, but promises are just words. Actions are what matter. And her actions told me everything I needed to know. It's been almost a year now. Different year, different life. I'm dating someone who has her own career, her own apartment, her own ambitions. We split dates. We split bills when we travel together. We support each other without either of us becoming a burden. It's equal. It's healthy. It's what a partnership should be. My ex is still working the admin job, according to social media. Still living with her parents. Still posting inspirational quotes about new beginnings and growth. Good for her, I guess. As for me, I'm building the life I should have been building 3 years ago. Better late than never. And when midnight struck this past New Year's Eve, I was surrounded by friends, champagne in hand, genuinely excited about the future. This year really was different. Just not the way she'd imagined. Sometimes I think about that moment. Standing at the door at 11:58 p.m. Her confused face. The countdown echoing through the walls. People tell me it was cruel. That I should have waited until after the holidays. That walking out during New Year's was unnecessarily dramatic. Maybe they're right. But I'd already wasted 3 New Year's Eves believing her promises. I wasn't about to waste a fourth. Different didn't mean she'd finally get her life together. Different meant I would. And honestly, best decision I ever made. She wanted different. She got it. Just not the version where she kept a comfortable life funded by someone else's sacrifice. I smile sometimes, thinking about that final promise. This year will be different. She was right. It was.